Thank you for setting the right tone for our report launch, Anupriya, and equipping us with so many insights about the D2C e-commerce space. With that, ladies and gentlemen, the moment is here to unveil the much awaited D2C Advantage X Toolkit Guide to Maximize ROI of D2C e-commerce investments by MMA Global India and Publicis Group. May I please request Monica Khurana, Anupriya Acharya, yet again to join us on stage along with Laltendu Das, CEO Performix India, or LD as we better know him, Anshul Garg, Managing Partner and Head of Publicis Commerce India, to please come on stage. As I speak, please join us. Come on, let's put our hands together, everyone. We're going to cut the ribbon. We're going to launch the report. This is the moment. Anshul? Yes. Let's go. Yes. Okay. All right, we have the scissors. Can Anupriya and Monica please do the honors? From below, maybe? Yes, can we have a nice picture of everybody, please? You can, yeah. Yes, we will just request the copies. Let's get a picture and then they'll bring in. Okay? Yeah. Can I please request you to stay back while we can get a photo opportunity with the teams involved? So, representatives from MMA Global India, Publicis Commerce, Performix India, our knowledge partner Google. I know there's Satya here somewhere. Can we find him? Yes, Hindu, HT, anyone from the team, please join us on stage. Come on. And Shopify. Come. Can we have more report copies for them, please? One for Rudra. Yes. One more. One more. One more. Yeah. It's okay, share. Congratulations, everyone, for a successful launch. I'm sure it feels great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Can I request Monica to please stay back and share some key highlights from the report and the primary survey that we conducted? Over to you. Just give me a minute. Okay, so now that we've launched the report, I'm sure you're already scanning the QR code, trying to get a copy for yourself, and you are the first ones in the room to get a copy. So do download it, do make the most of it, and whilst you do that, let me quickly
very quickly share some insights from the primary study we did. Like Anupriya said, we did reach out to 500 practitioners, we did try and get views from experts, and all of that we condensed into a very crisp primary study. And I'm going to just quickly highlight just a few data points from it, right? So, one of the questions was, is your D2C channel profitable? And a significant 63% of respondents said that their channel is not profitable. So, the food for thought is, what is it that distinguishes the remaining who are profitable, and what is it that they're doing right and we can learn from clearly, because they are the ones who are completely utilizing the potential of D2C in the larger e-commerce play, and that's what the report is going to help you decode, right? Having said that, one of the other questions was, what percent of your overall e-commerce revenue comes from D2C channel? Now, this needs to be seen in context. The reason why I say that is because this is in context of players who have omni-channel presence, and they indicated that less than 5% of their overall e-commerce revenue comes from the D2C channel. So whilst D2C is yet to become a dominant stream for a significant portion of the business surveyed, the current market landscape, as Anupriya said, offers ample opportunity to grow. The next question we asked, what are the key value drivers for your D2C channels? And these are also value drivers which motivated us to release this guide. So, the key value drivers which the respondents called out were primarily purchase intent, harnessing 1P data and collecting 1P data, consumer mindshare, customer experience, and brand building as one of the top 5 key value drivers, which are primarily contributing to benefits and the incrementality value of D2C. And therefore, it helps in building D2C over a period of time as a profitable and sustainable channel. The next question, and you can follow the slides as I talk you through it, is what are the key challenges you face in scaling D2C channels? So, a substantial 70% of the respondents identified, and I'm sure there are no surprises for this one, customer acquisition cost, like we call it CAC, right? It is the primary challenge in scaling D2C. Hence, there is a need for all of us out here to work at offering innovative solutions and cost effective strategies that can help overcome the CAC hurdle, right? The next question in the primary study, and this is one of the second last points I'm going to highlight, how do you leverage your 1P data in driving value on the D2C channel? So, again, this is clearly something which is practiced by a lot of the D2C companies which are profitable and therefore are also the ones which have emerged as top 5 areas. So the ways in which 1P data is being utilized to drive value is through cross-selling other products, running lookalike campaigns, improving customer experience, getting more consumer insights, and capturing organic purchase intent. So these were some of the ways in which 1P data is driving value in a D2C channel environment. Lastly, the question was, what data have you used to scale D2C channel? So this is again interesting because it's essentially how are you scaling D2C channel externally, because 1P data is what sits on your platform, but then there is 2P data and a lot of other ways of getting data from external sources. So what has come out is a lot of consumer insights from platforms like search, social, payment platforms have been instrumental in scaling the D2C channel, along with things like scraping technology. And of course, no surprises that there is a significant mention of ONDC, and we do have, ONDC representing here today as well, which has contributed to enable scale to D2C. So these essentially were some of the key takeaways, which can we see the summary slide? Yeah. So these were some of the key takeaways which emerged from the primary study which we conducted and which we used as a base to suggest appropriate solutions and appropriate methods to be able to address them, right? So that's what the study was about, and this is a quick summary of the study. So as we move forward, and as with this as the backdrop, we need to recognize that there is a need for a structured roadmap and consistent measures to be able to unlock the incremental value and win in the D2C space and be able to join the League of Profitable D2C Ventures. So, whilst you're downloading the report from the QR code, which is flashing on the screen, I'm going to invite Lalatendu Das, who we like to call LD, CEO Performix India, to tell us what is the secret sauce to maximize the value from D2C and to leverage the incrementality benefits. And LD, whilst you come on stage, this was a fantastic experience. I think it was a great partnership, and we're very, very delighted to have worked together.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this is exciting times for e-commerce. Why do I say that? The state of e-commerce in India, I can relate to it in three numbers. 19%, 12%, 49%, some of these Anupriya touched, but let me refresh the memory. What I mean by 19% is the projected CAGR of e-commerce market size between 2020 to 2030. From 100 billion to 400 billion is the jump this market is going to experience. 12% is the projected CAGR of online shoppers, right? Which is growing from 225 million today to approximately 500 million by end of the decade. In this ecosystem, 49% of all e-commerce funding is going to D2C. And D2C is the primary growth driver. That's the backdrop in this. Now, for the first part, we know about the market size jump. What you're seeing in this chart is 2022 value, which is 100 billion, and 2030 is going to be a 4x increase. But what's more interesting is in this market, some categories are going to get disproportionate growth. If you look at fashion and apparel, which is currently at 20%, is likely to go up to 28% by the end of the decade on the large 4x growth of the overall market, right? Similarly, you think of food and FMCG, some of our esteemed colleagues, Anushree is here, exciting times, right? Similarly, if you think beauty and personal care, these are the sectors where we are seeing a lot of interest as D2C brands and D2C play. Second, we talked about investment coming into D2C as a proportion of e-commerce. Anupriya shared a number which is 3-year CAGR, but it is much more pronounced if I look last 4 quarters. What happened, right? The post-pandemic boom, right? There is some stabilization on where the money goes, and now investors are smartly seeking out profitable ventures, and particularly investing in D2C. If you can see, quarter on quarter, the share of D2C investment has been growing substantially. So that's why I said it's an exciting time, yet, just to recap what Monica was saying, in our survey we found only 12% of D2C ventures are saying openly that we are profitable. 63% are clearly that we are not making profit. 25% think of D2C as an overall channel play, so they are not measuring the profitability in a standalone manner, so they're unsure. So it's safe to say nearly 80% of D2C ventures are yet to figure out the path to profitability. And we asked why, what's happening in this, right? Through our primary research, we spoke to a bunch of people. Some of you are in the room here. We came across 4 reasons why in India it's very difficult to scale D2C. Number one, high customer acquisition cost. Everybody knows if you go to a marketplace, Amazon, Flipkart, 330 million customers are already there. You list your product, you get discovery. When you're selling on D2C, you really need to work hard to get customers come to your site, get visibility, make a transaction. Last mile delivery returns for a complex and large country like India, no brainer. Supply chain and logistics depends on the sector, but how much inventory are you going to hold? Which pin codes are you going to serve, right? All that are challenges, and most importantly, which is an India-specific thing, in India, there is a bunch of talented people. Every sector, there are competition. And as a result, we are seeing a lot of price competition happening, over discounting and all. And in that space, people are figuring out, how do I make money, right? I have a proposition, but how do I make money? So all these four came out consistently the reason why some of the D2C brands are yet to make profits. But then we asked ourselves that for the 12% of people who said we are being profitable, what is the secret sauce? All right. But before that, we said these are qualitative objectives, but how does it translate to a cross structure of a D2C? Uh, we interviewed all these players and tried to map a median cost by different cost headers. What you're seeing on the chart in the left side is, oops, go back. Yeah. Again, this varies by industry. What you're seeing is the median value. So do indulge us for a minute if it is varies by 5-10% in each of the cost header. Cost of goods sold usually takes up 35% of your revenue as a percentage of revenue. Operations, you're ending up spending 25%. Technology and data, because you can capitalize, upfront cost is used, but capitalize, you end up spending 10%. Sales and marketing, hoping 30%. Now, if you add another 5% which goes to wastages or returns and all, you are already in negative operating profit territory, right? And that's the reason 63% of our people we surveyed, they said we are not making money. Then we went back and asked, okay, what are these 12% people who are successfully cracked the code doing differently, right? Again, we came across four themes. Number one, they're investing heavily into consumer insights to understand who is buying, where is he from or she from, what are the different attributes. Can I use lookalike modeling to target customers better? Can I use this data to make efficient media bets, right, rather than spraying and paying? That's a very one theme that came out as a consistent lever. Second is this is more for omni-channel players. How do I use D2C to create a consumer mind share? Can I create brand affinity with my audience? If I am targeting, let's say, women as my target consumer base, can I run campaigns in this about gender equality or maybe sustainability if that's what your customers are creating affinity towards? um, and in addition in this, when we talk about consumer mindshare, there are other elements about live commerce and all that thing, that social aspects being experimented. So all that's kind of clubbed in this lever. Number three, experimentation and new product innovations. People are using the insights from D2C to launch newer products. I see Anushri here, ITC Food. I think you guys launched the yoga bar, peanut butter. Um, Using D2C data, they figured out that there is a gap in the market. So how do we introduce newer products, right? And how do we introduce newer experiments, experience-related innovations based on the data that you are collecting? And lastly, operational excellence, right? Which pin code should we be active about, right? Where should I open my dark store to solve the last mile delivery? So those were the four insights that came that people who are cracking the code doing consistently. What you're seeing below is some quantitative value of this. We asked, again, the same players, if you do this right, what's the revenue potential? What's the incremental revenue you are going to get? What you see is a broad range. Again, it varies by the industry, but what we have tried to do, get to a median value. For example, consumer insights, if done right, can get to a 4% lift in the overall revenue. Similarly, in the consumer mind share, overall scheme of things, including the sales you will get online, as well as the transitory effect on your offline sales, would be around 5%. Uh, Newer product and experimentation is another 4%. Operational excellence is a big deal, right? Saw a broad range of numbers. People have cracked the code. This is where actually business are being made or unmade. But this is one area we did not choose to find a median value because it varies by industry, right? So this part we kind of excluded. But if I just take 4%, 5%, and again 4%, and again put on that cost chart I showed you, uh, you see we ended with minus 5% in the previous chart, and you keep adding these things, we are getting into a positive operating profit region. So that's the summary of the report, the essence of the report. Now the question you would ask is, okay, all this is good, how do we get started? So we went again to the same people and asked, if you were to redo this, right? If you have to start your D2C business today again, fresh, clean slate, what would be your step one, step two, step three? And interestingly, all of them said these four things. So I am distilling that in a playbook. What you need to do to run a profitable D2C venture. Number one is clarify the proposition. Are you doing your D2C to serve unmet demand in the market? Are you doing this to solve a gap in your supply chain, depending on what your business is? But do a lot of test and learn to crack that. Number two, differentiate on experience, right? India is a highly competitive market. How do you create the experience which is differentiated? Number three, which is core to what we do, which is invest on impactful creatives and consistent brand communication strategies. Lastly, harness the power of data. This is where I think, given the environment, given the deprecation of third-party cookies, the importance of data, first-party data, is going to increase. So that's essentially, as I said, all the feedback we got. If you have to restart again from day one, what would you do? These four steps came in. And at an abstract level, these four looks very simple. But let me just tell you, each of these involves a lot of in-depth work. For example, if you think proposition, what should be your GTM strategy? How should you think about media? How should you think about technology setup and operations? If you think about customer experience, what should be the pre-post customer experience? Are you thinking about conversion rate optimization as a technique and all that? You also need to think about creative strategy, production at scale, because now we are getting into an area where gone are the days where you would just create one creative adapts and use it for a year. Now we are talking about rapid A/B testings, maybe thousands in a day, right? So how do you do dynamic creative optimization and localization? And lastly, you need to have a robust data strategy, first-party data, thinking about CDPs and data clean rooms and so on and so forth. So in a sense, all our interviews, all our study is kind of summarized in this. What's the code to crack a profitable D2C ventures? That's all. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening.